what should I look for when choosing a church? Because I think you did mention about choosing a church. I like this church. Okay. I am still learning more about Apostles of Christ Church.
Yes.
But what do I look for
when looking for a church?
Yes.
I always go back to the Great Commission, Matthew 28, 16 to 20. There we have Jesus telling disciples that he's leaving earth and he's going to heaven, but he says his journey hasn't ended. He's sending them. He's still on earth, but in the disciples. That's how I got it. So he says, go out there and preach to everyone. Teach them everything that I have taught you. And when you teach them, when they believe in those things you've told them, they have believed in me, they have believed in God. So evangelism comes from that. We spread the word through going out into the world. So we go out into the world through us being on the pulpit, through us being on social media, through us just going out on our feet and seeing people, and through our actions, where we work, through your family, how you behave, how you interact with people. And am I still in your question?
Yes, you are. I am thinking because I've seen some of the things you're talking about on your social media platforms.
Yes.
So I was just checking to see if this might be the right church for me.
Yes. So, from what Jesus said in the Great Commission when he was sending the disciples, that's where we come up with the doctrine, the teaching, that when we bind that teaching together, it comes out with what we call a doctrine. So everything that was taught by Jesus to the disciples is what we call the apostolic doctrine. So everything that Jesus taught in his sermons and to the disciples, it forms up a doctrine. So if you go into a church that has a doctrine, that doesn't include what Jesus taught in his sermons. That doesn't include what Jesus taught to the disciples. And you call it a doctrine, that would be wrong. And there are some people, when they read on what Jesus said, when we read on the sermons, and when we read on what Jesus taught the disciples, we don't quite read in the Holy Spirit. We read, but when we lay the doctrine, it's somehow wrong to what Jesus said. So we need to be in the Holy Spirit whilst we read on what Jesus taught and what Jesus taught the disciples and what he said in the sermons.